But the American people do not want woke Marxist lunacy in the AI models, and neither do other countries. They don't want it. They don't want anything to do with it. That's why on day one, I very proudly terminated Joe Biden's order on woke AI effective immediately. You don't have any of those crazy rules. Crazy rule. To ensure America maintains the world-class infrastructure we need to win today, I will sign a sweeping executive order to fast-track federal permitting, streamline reviews, and do everything possible to expedite construction of all major AI infrastructure projects. And this will be done. You will get so good a service in so many ways, not only from Lee with the environment, but you need many other types of permits, and you're going to go so fast. You're going to say, well, wait a minute, this is too fast. I didn't expect to go this quickly. This is a problem. I may cause a problem in opposite. But including factories, data centers, and power plants of all kinds, the United States will have total industrial and technological supremacy. The second pillar of our action plan for AI dominance is to get the entire world running on the backbone of American technology. And I think that's very much happening right now, and I think it's going to happen. The last administration was obsessed with imposing restrictions on AI, including extreme restrictions on its exports. As you know, they made it very difficult to export. This alienated American partners and drove even our friends into the arms of China and other countries. Today, I'm signing another major executive order that will turn America into an AI export powerhouse. Under this order, Secretary Lutnick and Secretary Marco Rubio's doing a great job as Secretary of State, will work to rapidly expand American AI exports of all kinds, from chips to software to data storage of all kinds. And that's very important. That's going to give you the freedom to do what you want to do. Once and for all, we are getting rid of woke. Is that okay? Because I know you had to hire all woke people. I heard you had to hire all woke people under some of these things. How about the chips, where they give you the chip nonsense, where they give you billions of dollars if you only build a chip company? These people have plenty of money. They don't need the money. They need the permits. They need the rights to do it. They don't want to pay tariffs, so they come and they build here. That's why they're coming here. Number one, they like me, but they like not having to pay tariffs even more. And they're coming. But Biden gave billions of dollars to companies that have nothing but cash. And they don't say where to build. It's just give them money. But here's the problem. They have to hire lots of woke people. And they say woke isn't for this particular industry. We've noticed that. They're not for a lot of industries, if you want to know the truth. So the guidelines were impossible. They're going to give you money, but you got to hire this and this and this and that. And I don't want to get into it too much because I don't want any controversy today. But you have to hire a lot of people that were not into this particular world that you're in. And so therefore, all the money they gave didn't mean a damn thing. One of Biden's worst executive orders established toxic diversity, equity, and inclusion ideology as a guiding principle of American AI development. So you immediately knew that was the end of your development. But the American people do not want woke Marxist lunacy in the AI models, and neither do other countries. They don't want it. They don't want anything to do with it. That's why on day one, I very proudly terminated Joe Biden's order on woke AI effective immediately. You don't have any of those crazy rules. Crazy rules. And in just a moment, I will be signing an order banning the federal government from procuring AI technology that has been infused with partisan bias or ideological agendas such as critical race theory, which is ridiculous. And from now on, the U.S. government will deal only with AI that pursues truth, fairness, and strict impartiality. We're not going to go through the craziness that we've gone through for the last 4 years. And then we skip 4, and then you go back, and it started then. But it hung around a little while. Now it's not hanging around at all. Now it's actually very uncool, as somebody told me the other day. It's so uncool to be woke. I encourage all American companies to join us in rejecting poisonous Marxism in our technology. It'll be very interesting to see what's happening in New York, because they're actually thinking about electing a communist in New York. They like to call him a socialist. He's not a socialist, he's a communist. But don't worry, you're going to be okay. He still has to get his money from the White House, and that's not going to happen until he shapes up. Joe Biden had a plan to lose the AI race. I think he wanted to lose it because his plan would never have worked. It would have never been successful. You would have spent a lot of money and you wouldn't have been able to win. They didn't allow you to win, but we have a plan which only admires and respects the winners. Every citizen should take incredible pride in the inspiring feats of American innovators who are pushing the bounds of human knowledge and achievement. The people of OpenAI, Google, Meta, and countless startups are proving once again that America is impossible. You are just impossible to beat. You're not going to be beaten. We're not going to let that happen. When you do your best, when you work your hardest, and when you're allowed to be free of horrible, foolish regulation. And you're going to have regulation, but it's going to be sensible, smart regulation. There's nobody who's going to beat you. As we push even further into this exciting frontier, let us never forget that all of this prosperity and progress has come from the culture of freedom and hard work, merit, ambition, and risk-taking passed down from one generation of Americans to the next. Silicon Valley rose to wealth, fame, and glory by exemplifying these values, and it will win this race not by rejecting them, but by embracing them like they have never been embraced before.
In what ways will America seek to dominate the sector?
NVIDIA. I mean, if you think about it, there's one chip in the world fueling the AI revolution. And then you think about NVIDIA, you think about hyperscalers like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, look at Palantir. I mean, look, Trump recognizes this is an AI arms race between the US and China. This is the time to go into fifth gear. That's what the speech is really starting.
So what sort of changes as part of this plan will Americans and therefore the rest of the world see?
I think the biggest thing is the red tape, the regulatory. I mean, that's the biggest issue that many tech companies have, whether it's on the state or federal level. Compare that to China and Beijing, very little regulatory. I mean, you say Big Brother's watching, but not regulatory in terms of the technology and trying to get this, to market. I think that's the issue, is that they recognize there's a 12 to 18 month window here. U.S. has beaten China when it comes to tech for the first time in 30 years. But regulatory, data center build out, and as well as exports, as we saw in the Middle East, in terms of where NVIDIA and others are going to be front and center.
So what are the most exciting projects, if we can put it that way? I mean, others will call it troubling, but what are some of the major changes in AI that we will see immediately or or we'll see in the not too distant future?
Look, consumers, it's going to be probably another 12, 18 months till most see it outside just the models, ChatGPT and others. Look, I think autonomous, I mean, that's what we're seeing with Tesla front and center. Obviously, you see with Waymo owned by Alphabet. That's real. In terms of autonomous as well as robotics, that's coming to consumers. But the biggest thing is just on enterprises. I mean, there's right now called $2 trillion that's going to be spent in the next 3 years. That's more than's been spent in the last 20 years.
Wow.
That just gives you a number why there's a fourth industrial revolution.
Yeah. No doubt. And I'm glad you said ChatGPT there, because much has been made about who's behind some of this tech. And some of the AI sites are taking more liberal stances on issues. You know, when you type questions into the programs, how does Donald Trump hope to push back against that?
Look, I think less regulatory, right? I mean, if you think about Grok, in terms of Musk with Grok, I mean, Grok's going to be in the Department of Defense. So you're seeing a very hands-off, laissez-faire approach here. Look, that's bullish for tech. It's bullish for in terms of the data center in the U.S. build-out. But like anything else, it all comes down to like, this is laying it out. Now you got to see action. Stargate was an initiative. But this is just starting the global AI arms race.